Hi, I'm Fraser Douglas, the avid tent camper. We've got a windy day here today, so I gotta hang on to my hat. In this video, I want to continue talking about safety considerations. I began talking about safety in another video published a few weeks ago, and now I want to share a few more safety tips. First of all, I want to talk about animal scavengers and things that you can do to prevent problems with these scavengers.
Whenever Ava and I talk about our camping trips, somebody in the group almost always expresses concern about bear attacks. So let me begin this video by talking about bears. 3 types of bears live in North America. The most common bear, by far, is the black bear. It is the only bear that we have ever seen in the eastern United States, and is the primary bear that campers might see in the western United States. Most of the time, these bears are shy and will avoid human contact, but if humans have food, these bears may approach the humans to try to get the food. As a general rule, these bears would not come into large campgrounds where there's lots of human activity, but when people are asleep at night, they may venture into a campground to look for food. If you've left food out in your campsite, they may visit your campsite. And if you've left food out, you could get injured as they root around looking for that food. The second bear is the grizzly bear or brown bear. It is found in a few northern Rocky Mountain states. It is much more common in Canada and Alaska. Since Ava and I have never camped in the northern Rocky Mountain states, we really don't know anything about these bears. We never read much about them, but apparently they can be aggressive toward people. The third bear, called the polar bear, is found up in the Arctic regions of the North American continent, but campers would never encounter this type of bear. In sum, contact with a bear is highly unlikely when camping, unless perhaps you have left food out that will attract them to your campsite. The most destructive of these animal scavengers are ordinary squirrels. They will rip tents apart in order to get any food that may have been inadvertently left inside. Raccoons that have been fed by previous campers can be very aggressive and will actually come onto your table while you're sitting there and try to take your food away. One way to avoid raccoon problems is to eat all of your meals, clean your dishes, and put your food away before sundown. Another good way to deal with aggressive squirrels and raccoons is to squirt them with a water gun. Skunks can be a problem in some campgrounds. If one approaches your campsite, stand back and hope that they leave soon. Crows are fairly common in many campsites, but generally they don't pose any kind of a risk to humans. The animal that worries me the most is a coyote. They are frequently attracted to campgrounds looking for pet food that may have been left out overnight, but they are also predators and occasionally will attack small children. To avoid problems with animal predators, always keep your food in the car except when you are cooking and eating your meals. We keep our cooler and our food at the back of the car and a small table back there that we can set up whenever we need to move food around. If you have a small car, you could pack your food in an enclosed trailer. Although animals may look cute, never ever feed them. In addition to making them more aggressive toward future campers, it can impair their ability to find food when humans are not present. After eating your last meal of the day and cleaning up, remove your clothes and take a bath so that you don't bring any food smells inside the tent. Never bring any kind of food, candy, toothpaste, or other sweet-smelling substances inside of your tent. And don't let children bring it into the tent. You may have to check their pockets before they go into the tent to make sure there's no food there. And finally, wash your tablecloth or tabletop every morning because during the night animals may have climbed on top of it and left contaminated fecal material. And now let's talk about problems that are caused by contaminated food and water. Backpackers that must draw their water from rivers and streams must be especially aware of the illness Giardia. But modern tent camping families that frequently use fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meat, eggs, mayonnaise, and other ingredients to prepare their meals must be concerned about many more food-borne illnesses, including salmonella, listeria, E. coli, toxoplasma, and many more. The risk of food contamination in the campsite is actually higher than the risk of food contamination at home because water is less available in a campsite. Campers don't have sinks with hot water. Instead, they'll have to get jugs and go to the nearest water source, draw some water, and bring it back to their campsite. Since they've got to repeatedly make trips to get their water, campers sometimes tend to skimp on the water and the cleaning. But this is a dangerous habit. You can buy 3 to 5 gallon plastic water containers in camping outfitting stores, but we have found these containers to be extremely difficult to carry back and forth from the water spigot to the campsite and move around the campsite. And so we prefer to use these 1-liter ocean spray jugs. Typically we'll take 2, but if we know that we're going to be a long way away from our water supply, we may take more than 2. If we need a little extra water, we may take a bucket to the water spigot also. So here are a few suggestions for avoiding food and water-borne illnesses. First of all, wash your hands with soap and water often. Wash them every time you go to the bathroom, wash them before touching food, and wash them at other times that they may get dirty. Second, wash all fruit, vegetables, and meat before preparing them for cooking. Third, wash your food preparation area and cutting board that may have touched this fruit, vegetables, and meat. And finally, refrigerate your leftovers in your cooler immediately after completing your meal and throw them away if you don't eat them the next day. When hiking, try to stay on wide and popular trails. Wide trails are less likely to have roots and rocks that could trip you and cause injury. They also allow you to see any wildlife or snakes that might be lurking nearby. And if you get injured, it would be much easier to get assistance. When hiking to bluffs and waterfalls, observe warning signs and stay behind designated barriers.
Now, let me talk a little bit about children's activities and things that you can do to enhance their safety.
First of all, obey posted speed limits and beware of children playing in the street. If you see a child playing in or near the street, come to a complete stop until that child is out of the street and aware of your presence. Don't allow children to cut wood or play with hatchets with a bare blade. Also, keep a sheath on your hatchet in case a child impulsively picks it up before you can stop them. Encourage children to play in
playgrounds, play areas, and other well-groomed areas of the park. In fact, riding a bicycle in the street may be better than playing in the woods because snakes and yellow jackets are sometimes a problem in wooded areas. Here in Alabama, copperhead snakes frequently hide in the leaves on warm fall days. Bring helmets for children to protect them from possible head injury. Most parks now require children to wear helmets when biking and participating in other hazardous activities. Bring life preservers for children and require them to wear the preservers whenever they're boating, canoeing, or swimming in dark water. Bring glow stick necklaces and bracelets for children and require them to wear these glow sticks after dark so that you can see them wherever they're playing and so that drivers in the campground can see them. Well, I hope these tips have given you some ideas about things that you can do to enhance your safety, your own personal safety, and your family's safety when tent camping. Remember, take more trips, travel further, visit more attractions, and save money. Go tent camping.